Slamdown is sponsored by Body Slam and Jam and WWE Smack Talk. Welcome to another Impact. No, I was going to say another Impact. Welcome to another show on Slamdown live stream. We're going to be covering the Impact, but we're also going to be covering TNA news or Impact Wrestling news. To me, it's still TNA. I know they're going with the Impact name, but you know, habits die hard. First thing I want to cover, Jeff Jarrett was in the UK. There was a few little things he was mentioning about wanting to do work with the UK market, which we've seen the WWE do recently. Because he was basically saying it's UK what's hot right now. 90s was Japan, 80s was USA, and he's saying now it's the UK. But they're also looking at getting a TV deal for the UK, which I'm very happy about. I think that is one of the main goals they need to go with. I know they've done the app, brilliant, but it needs to be on UK TV. That is a must for me, especially being the UK being a big fan base for Impact as well, with the Maximum Tour and everything else that the UK do for TNA. It's just logical sense, to do sort of what the WWE formula where all the shows on TV are free, but you have to pay for the pay-per-view or get the app. They've got to make money as well, and that is one of the key factors to this. They need to make money. What Anthem are doing with they're taking the business side and letting Jeff Jarrett run with the wrestling side makes perfect sense, and it's what TNA need to do. He's also said he's not going to rush a restart. He's going to let current storylines finish, build new storylines in, add to the talent, which I think is the right way to go about it, because he's even said when the sign of madness is when you repeat itself. It's been repeated and restarted so much in the past that he just wants to continue with what the storylines, fix them up a little bit, and then start new. Which, to me, is perfect. It's what you need to do from a business standpoint. A little thing I will say today as well, I will be doing a show on the YouTube channel where I'll be doing little clippets of how I would run TNA. And I'm going to be talking about productions, staging, but I'm going to break it off into sections. So, like, the first show will probably be production. Second show would be backstage, creative. Third show would be raw stuff. Fourth show would be storylines, and list goes on. And then after that, I'll probably do on how I would sort out the WWE. I want to go sort of that sort of angle on that, because a lot of you know that I do judge Raw or SmackDown, give it ratings and everything else. I just think it would be nicer to give my own spin on things. You know, to me, it just makes more sense. You know, I could sit here and, you know, just continue doing the shows, judging what's on TV at the minute with WWE and TNA. You know, I'd rather do something which is a bit more beneficial, giving on how I would do things, and then also gives you more insight to me as the host of, you know, my opinions. Any other news? Yeah. We've heard that Alberto Del Rio's in talks with TNA, and we've also heard about Magnus being in talks. Where with me, Magnus is a very, very big possibility. If you look at where Magnus has been with GFW, I think we're going to see a lot of the past or current GFW transitioning into TNA. You know, I'm just hoping that he does work on the X Division, because that is one area we would all love to see vastly improve. But one thing I just want to reiterate to everybody, when I'm here live on Facebook, please comment below. You know, I'd like to hear your opinions. If you disagree with me, fine, but tell me why you disagree with me. You know, it gives me more to talk about. So let's go and dig in to the Impact show. And also on this show, we're going to see the first match of the Hardys having a match that's in another country, but it's been played in another country and another promotion, but being played on Impact Zone. But yeah, I'll get more into the pros and cons of that in a minute. So I just want to sort of dig through the show, and then I'll go more in depth what I think about the whole way they've done the Hardys. Starting off the show, we had Decay with Crazy Steve and Rosemary, with Abyss taking on Moose and apparently Mini Moose, Brandy Rhodes. Now, it was a pretty average match. We saw a little bit of what Rhodes has got. You know, she's still in training. So there's potential, but you know, it's still early days. But we saw Moose pin Steve to pick up the victory. Probably about 2 out of 5 star match, to be honest. Backstage, we saw Mini Moose and Moose are celebrating their victory. Moose tells her that always have her back in Impact Wrestling, and next week we will see Cody set to make his return. After that, we saw Eddie Edwards is in the ring and has got revenge on his mind. He's saying he's here for one reason, and it's to beat up former partner from the Wolves. Now, I love the Wolves as a tag team. I think they're dynamic, they're different. They remind me a little bit of Motor City Machine Guns with the talent they have and the way they work with each other. I'm still not convinced of splitting this team up. I'm really not convinced. I think there was a lot more they could do with the Wolves, but, you know, every team has its time. I just feel it's the wrong decision. But we saw Davey Richard after he was portrayed last week. Eddie's calls out Davey and his wife Angelina Love Angelina Love comes out instead. She questions when Davey tore his ACL, blames Eddie for abandoning them in exchange for the world title. Davey comes out, accuses Eddie of turning his back on him. Eddie charges up the ramp and the fight is on. Security come down to the ring, break it up, and Eddie challenges Davey to anything goes street fight. Now, the way they've done it, storyline wise, is good. I can't fault it. You know, it's the way it's been assumed and the angle. Can't fault it. I'm trying to fault it, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. No, I can't. I've just had a question come through. I will cover that after I've gone through this show. But yeah, I don't like the Wolves splitting up, but they're doing it well. We travelled to Tijuana, Mexican, for the opening of the Broken Hardys Expedition of Gold. The search for the promoter to challenge the Mexican Tag Team Champions. After that, we see Maria, Laura Van Ness and Selena arrive to Lauren's bachelor party, but are unhappy with the way Hallie has decorated the room. Hallie was under the impression that the party was for Maria, until Maria informs her that Laura will be marrying Braxton Sutter. I'm getting bored of this angle. Very quick. I know they tried to add Braxton Sutter to the mix, but I'm bored. I'm bored of the bullying angle. After that, we saw Eddie Kingston versus Jesse Godderz. We saw Godderz hit the blockbuster from the second rope for a near fall. Kingston pulls Godderz throat across the top rope, follows up with an STO. Godderz attempts a lock in an busting Adonis crab, but Kingston avoids it. Godderz connects with a springboard forearm to win. Springboard forearm? Reminds me of AJ Styles. I really don't like Jesse Godderz. I'm putting it out there. I don't think he's a good enough level to be in the top. I don't think Robbie E is really, but that's my opinion. After the match, the lights go out and other DCC members, John Storm, Bram, appear in the ring, but Jesse Godderz has already escaped. I'm just annoyed they're putting Godderz over Kingston. I think Kingston should have got the victory on there. We had a very special edition of The Fact of Life, but Tyrus was hosting this show. Eli Drake betrays Tyrus for choosing EC3 as an opponent at Open Fight Night. Drake lost, and Drake tells Tyrus he's paid to watch his back and nothing more. Tyrus grabs Drake by the throat and says he will see him in the ring next week. Then we go back to the Brokers. Hardys finally meet with the promoter, Conan. It's nice to see Conan working with Impact again. I think that's definitely been a Jeff Jarrett connection. They tell him they don't want money, they just want the tag team champions. Conan improves the match, and we'll see it. We'll see it later on. Maria informs Ali that she'll be the ring bearer at Lauren and Braxton's wedding next week before leaving for the party. One thing I want to quickly cover, they did do Brian Suxter one where they were like in a locker room with seats and they were all just drinking. There was people there who didn't even know. It was a bit crap of one, to be honest. Wasn't really much of a story to it. Then we saw the Broken Hardys taking on Psychosis and Super Crazy, Mexican Tag Team Champions. During the match, we see Vanguard 1 hanging out with some of the promotion female competition backside. In the ring, Broken Matt hits Psychosis with a twist of fate. Brother Nero follows up with this one to bomb to win. The Broken Hardys win the match, and the promoter comes chasing after them, but they use Vanguard 1 to teleport to return to the Dome of Deletion. Matt Hardy has a premonition, reveals they will challenge for the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions next week. Backstage, Brooke previews her match with Sienna and says it's about time to shut up Maria. We saw Brooke versus Sienna. Sienna managed to get a lucky roll-up and won the match. After that, we saw Bobby Lashley cutting a promo. And then former UFC heavyweight champion Josh Barnett comes down and telling him Lashley he's got to earn the respect. He's not at that level yet, and challenges him a match for the title. I haven't done my ratings, have I? Silly me. All right, I've rated one match, but I haven't rated the others. Jesse Godderz Eddie Kingston match, probably 2-star, pushing it. Matt Hardy match, I actually quite thought it was quite good. 3.5-star out of 5s. This in Sienna versus Brooke, 2. We saw Eddie Edwards versus the American Wolf, Davey Richard with Angelina Love, Anything Goes Street Fight. This match to me was brutal. The way they handcuffed Eddie Edwards' wife to the ropes and beat down on Eddie Edwards, really beating down using Concerto. To me, I liked it. I liked the match. It's a 4 out of 5 star match for me. Could be more extreme. Some people can say that, but it was a brilliant show. It was good Impact. You can tell Jeff Jarrett's had his hands all over it, which is good. You can see the slight improvement, but like I said, it's going to take time. It's going to take gradual. Someone just said to me in the comments, do you think the Hardys will stay? Yes. Reason I say that, Hardys have more freedom with the TNA. They're allowed to go and fight at other shows. Jeff Hardy has time to do his music, his artwork. It's the freedom aspect. With the WWE, they will have no freedom. They will be working house live events. They'll be working a grueling schedule. Unless they get a part-time deal, which I don't agree with, part-timers. But yeah, no. There is... I can't really see a possibility of them going to Mick Mahan, in Matt Hardy's words, promotion. I can't see it. You know, I'm just being straight honest with you. I just can't see it happening. They're given so much with TNA, and I can't see why they would turn their backs on that. But yeah, I think that's it. I've covered about Jeff Jarrett. I've covered the show. I can't think there's anything else but left to cover. So, big thank you for everybody to watch. Remember, I've got the mini-series of How I Would Run TNA coming soon. We're back on air tomorrow with the Raw review, with me as your host as always. So, thanks for watching Slamdown Livestream, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9 PM GMT.